10 years together, then she said, "I'm not real dad." My response shocked everyone. I was folding laundry when her voice cut through the quiet. "Maybe you shouldn't be so attached," she said, casually. I froze mid-fold. The words felt like ice dripping down my spine. "Attached to what?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral even as my stomach knotted. She didn't look at me. She was scrolling through her phone, tapping with a precision that felt deliberate. "To her, our daughter," she murmured, almost to herself. A laugh escaped me, nervous, bitter. "What do you mean?" She glanced up, her eyes sharp, almost cruel. "You'll never be her real dad. You're pretending. Stop pretending." The laundry slipped from my hands. A sock landed in the corner, forgotten. My mind stopped, then raced. 10 years. 10 years I had loved, protected, and built a life for this little girl as if she were my own. And in one sentence, she shattered it. I wanted to scream, to grab her, shake her, demand answers. But I didn't. I couldn't. Not yet. I stepped back. I forced a calm smile. "Is that how you really feel?" She shrugged. "I'm just saying what's obvious. She needs her real dad, not you." I nodded slowly, measured. Every word I said from now on would be a step in a plan. I would not react. Not visibly. Not yet. The storm was starting. I just had to wait for the right moment. I replayed her words in my head for hours, over and over. "You'll never be her real dad." I watched her as she moved through the house with a kind of careless detachment, laughing at her phone, sipping her wine. Nothing to indicate that the woman I had married, the woman who had whispered "I love you" in the dark of the night, who had held my hand through every doctor's visit, every scraped knee, every success, could say something so poisonous. I remembered the moment I had first held her daughter, her tiny fingers wrapped around mine. I had whispered promises no one else had made. I had become a father not by blood, but by choice, by devotion. Yet she called it a lie. I didn't confront her immediately. I couldn't. Anger would ruin the precision of what I was about to do. I had to be calm, detached, patient. I began noticing the small things I had ignored before. The late texts she hid behind her screen, the occasional hush when I walked into a room, the faint perfume that wasn't mine. Nothing concrete, yet enough to stoke the fire of suspicion. Every night as I watched her sleep, I felt a calculation forming. This wasn't just betrayal of the body. This was betrayal of trust, of family, of every year we had spent building something together. And I would respond, strategically, coldly. I sent a silent message to myself. Do not act hastily. Wait, observe, collect evidence. I started subtly. Her phone buzzed constantly. She left it unattended on the kitchen counter more than she realized. I noted every contact, every unusual time of day. I remembered the DNA testing kit I had, tucked away months ago, a precaution she had laughed at. I found it, opened it, collected a sample from her daughter when she was asleep, just a few strands of hair. Quiet, unnoticed. I watched her patterns, late nights, whispered conversations, messages deleted before I could see them. I stayed calm in front of her, even cheerful. I smiled at breakfast, offered her coffee, asked about her day. She had no idea the storm brewing beneath my composure. Everything I did was measured, every step calculated. I needed absolute certainty before moving. Weeks passed. I observed, collected, and cataloged. I noted every inconsistency, every lie, every slip of the tongue. And then, a breakthrough. A late-night conversation she thought was private. I had positioned myself carefully, just out of earshot. The words she spoke to a man I didn't recognize cut deeper than anything else. "Don't worry, he'll never know. She thinks he's her real dad." I had my confirmation. Not only was she hiding the truth from me, but she had deliberately constructed a lie so I would remain blind. I let her think I remained oblivious. That was the key. The results of the DNA test were undeniable. My daughter, biologically, was not mine, but emotionally, she had always been, and that made the betrayal all the more potent. I confronted her one evening, quietly. I handed her the test results, letting the paper slide across the kitchen table with a faint thunk. She looked at it, confusion first, then panic. She stammered, reaching for my hand. I withdrew, cold, detached. "Do you see now?" I asked. My voice was calm, controlled, eerily so. Her eyes filled with tears, but not the relief of understanding. They were the tears of fear, fear of losing control. "Yes," she whispered finally, I never meant for this." I let the silence hang. I didn't shout, I didn't cry. I simply watched her crumble under the weight of her deception. The party was her idea, an attempt to celebrate some meaningless milestone. I attended, calm, smiling, observing. She danced, oblivious to my plan, twirling in her dress, laughing. And I moved, silent, calculated. I slipped a small envelope into her sister's hand. Inside, the DNA results. She noticed too late. A glance, a gasp. The whispers started. Friends, family, everyone understood at once. She turned to me, a mix of horror and rage. "How?" I smiled slightly, cold, detached. "You should have told the truth 10 years ago," I said softly. Her world shattered before everyone's eyes. Not with screams, not with anger, but with the quiet, undeniable proof of her lies laid bare. I walked away, leaving her trembling in the middle of her carefully constructed celebration. I returned home alone. The house felt larger than ever. Silence, my only companion. I thought of my daughter, of my love, pure and untainted. I would continue for her, not for the woman who betrayed me. No reconciliation awaited. No apologies would matter. Only the truth remained, crystal clear. And me, calm, composed, unbroken. I poured myself a drink, sat by the window, and watched the city lights. The storm had passed. I had survived it. And in surviving, I had gained clarity, control, and freedom. The last thought, quiet but firm. Some betrayals are deadly. But revenge? Revenge can be surgical. I turned away from the window. No regrets. Only power.
How could you do this?